Hi, I'm just going to talk you through a few artworks that use biometrics, that critique biometrics, facial recognition, and this kind of machine reading of human faces. First off is Erica Scotti's body scan, which is based on this technology here, CamFind, which is an app that you can um, whoops, it was a bit fast. This is an app that you install on your phone. You point your phone at any object in the real world, and the app will then try to recognize that image and show you information about it. Usually the information is actually very commercial. So if you point it at your wristwatch, it's likely to try to find a wristwatch that looks like that you could buy. It looks for brands, but it also can find things like if you point a hand at it, it'll say human hand left. So what Erica Scorti did was she used this app to tell a story about her body, in a sense, pointing it at her clothes and at her body. And then she reads it over with her own voice. She matches up the different things. So you should look at this video a bit and probably actually install the app too and see how it is. It's called CamFind. So that's an example of how you can use this sort of automated image recognition technology to maybe tell a different story than what was intended by the people who created the technology. But of course, one of the main ways in which facial recognition and biometrics are used is to identify people and preferably try to find the bad guys, right? Or whoever is perceived as being the bad guy at the point. So this work, physiognomic scrutinizer, it's like one of those gates you walk through in the airport for security. You know what, this webcam's really fuzzy, isn't it? Does that help? Really not. Maybe it's just not a very good webcam, sorry. Anyway, you walk through this gate, like at the airport security place, and it matches your face against a database of 250 bad guys, or dodgy people, according to the artist, or I'm sure you can problematize that, but in any case, 250 people, criminals of various sorts. And whichever one of these people in the database your face is closest to, the machine will yell out, "It's so-and-so, serial rapist and arsonist," or something like that. So it kind of embarrasses everyone who walks through it. And this, of course, comments on, how we might be misrecognized or as somebody we are not, even with this technology. Bias is also a really important thing because it turns out that we're quite biased in what we think is normal. This is the Turing normalizing machine, which isn't, it's a system where they show people videos of faces and such and ask people which one's normal. And this teaches the machine to recognize normal, which is an interesting approach. So this is a machine learning from humans in a sense. A similar idea is Zach Blass's fag face. I think I may have mentioned his face cages, this one in the middle here, which is basically a physical sculpture made out of the biometric grids that algorithms use to do facial recognition. And when you make that into a physical sort of cage like that and you name the artwork face cages, it speaks of, of being locked in by this biometrics, by this identification. It's kind of like, well, a mask, but maybe a torture device, but also a cage that locks you in. Now, these other ones on the sides are a different kind of mask. They're actually composites of a great many different faces. And if you look at this video down here, which I really recommend, it's an excellent video. At the beginning of it basically talks about what our course is about, and then he explains how the humans are able to, in I think he says 15 milliseconds, humans are able to identify a face as being queer, which is astounding, really. Obviously, if humans can do that, we can teach computers to do that. So this is a way of sort of fighting back against that immediate prejudice that humans and computers can have, where we just say, oh, you're queer, you're poor, you're black, you're a woman, you're stupid, and these much too fast judgments which lock people into being in a certain way or being treated in a certain way because of physical aspects. And that's rather like the Agambem article that we read for today about identity and what identity becomes when it becomes purely biological. Now, the last piece I want to show you, you may remember this Monty Python sketch, which you'll have to watch, How Not to Be Seen. This is it's actually fairly apropos. It's about how to hide and how really you'll be, blown up if you don't hide. I'll let you watch that on your own, I think, since my internet's not terribly fast here. But the modern day uptake of this is Heito Stahls' How Not to Be Seen. She's a German artist, and this is a video. It's actually almost a quarter of an hour, but it's worth watching if you don't have time in class, and watch it later. And it's how not to be seen in images, and it has some really interesting things about just the setting that it's in. They're standing on these calibration patterns that they actually put in the middle of the desert in I think it was the 80s, so that aeroplane satellites from above could calibrate their images and focus the images of the Earth by these patterns. And now, of course, they do this with pixels instead. So it's thinking about how to be invisible to technology in a sense, which is a really interesting point. Oh, the very last one, yeah, here's the video there, is another way to be invisible to technology, because of course if technology is seeing us so that they can discipline us or have a bias against us or maybe put us in jail or even kill us, then you might want to not be seen by cameras. And this is another strategy, CV dazzle, makeup and hairdos that basically make you not recognizable to cameras. And this was proposed as an alternative when they started banning masks again during the Occupy movement in North America a year or two ago. Okay, so take some time to look through these examples of artworks, and then we'll talk more later. Bye.